No problem. Hi, everyone. I'm Hannah Jones from the University of Liverpool. I'm here in two hats at the moment. I'm also a trustee for the Northwest Coastal Forum. Um, oh, thank you. Yeah, is that better for everyone? Yeah. Um, so I'm here in two capacities today. Just a bit about myself. I'm a researcher in the Department of Geography and Planning. I'm currently doing a PhD looking at seascape and access to the coast, and in particular, cultural ecosystem services. But I've been working in marine planning for quite some time. Um, Originally working with the MSP assistance mechanism um, for the European Union, but obviously post Brexit things have changed a little bit. But I've been looking into the field for about 10 years or so now, working with quite a few of your various projects, um, mostly centered around the Irish Sea. So for those of you that don't know, just a little bit about what marine planning is. In the UK, the Marine and Coastal Access Act 2009 established the legal basis for planning in our country. Across Europe, where we were quite early adopters of the marine planning process, although I think every country in Europe now has a marine plan, but this was not the case. The overarching policy for marine planning is the UK Marine Policy Statement 2011, and that covers all devolved administration, so Scotland's marine plan, English marine plans, Northern Irish and Welsh will still all adhere to the marine policy statement. Just focusing on England itself, because obviously that's where the Northwest is. England has 11 marine planning areas: Northwest, East, Southwest, um, Southwest, inshore and offshore plans for each, with the exception of the Northwest, which has one plan for both the inshore and the offshore areas. And these are uh, managed by the Marine Management Organization. I'd just like to point out Rosie and Chloe over there. Give them a wave. If you want to speak to them about what the Marine Management Organization does, please find Chloe and Rosie in the break, and they'll give you a chat about that. Another thing is essential for us to know, and it's particularly important in the Northwest, is that transboundary cooperation is really important for marine planners, and particularly in the Northwest. We've got the Solway First and Tough and the D, where we've got to liaise with our counterparts at the Welsh Government, and obviously with Marine Scotland as well. In addition, we've got the Isle of Man government, and further beyond that, obviously, water moves. So we need to speak to our colleagues in Northern Ireland and Dara and in the Republic of Ireland as well, due to the large number of activities that we have going on. Right. Okay. Obviously, we're looking at a coastal environment, so it's important to consider land-sea interactions when we're thinking about marine planning on the coast. So this is talking with our terrestrial planning counterparts. Do we have any local authority representatives? Hi. Hi. So there should be some crossover between our colleagues over there and our local government colleagues if this marine planning process is to work to the best possible, but I mean, best possible, most productive way. Land-sea interaction is quite a complex process, and various groups of people, I've put a few of them up here, have come up with different ways of how to define them. But needless to say, it's complicated and it can cover great distances. For example, agricultural activities miles away from the actual coast can obviously have an impact. Right. I won't read all of this, but this is the sort of the key one of the key components of the marine policy station, as I mentioned. integration with terrestrial planning regimes. And I won't read all this out, but yeah, it's a key point. How am I doing for time? Yeah. So as I mentioned before, we've got the marine inshore and offshore areas that you can see there, and that's where we fit in the country. Yeah. Um, there's a link to the document. This marine plan document is available online, and there'll be links at the end of these slides as well. So how do we explore this Northwest Marine Plan? Well, there's a handy tool that you can access via the NWME website. I've just highlighted shipping here, but you can click a variety of plan policies, see where they could come into effect. Different type of activities. You might be wanting to look at specifically offshore wind and fisheries to find out which areas spatially have competing sectors where conflicts might arise. It's also good to note that the Welsh Government has a similar system, and there'll be different interactive maps that you may need to look at for the other countries as well. They are available, but obviously we're in England at the moment, so I've focused on the marine management tool. There's also handy guidance for those of us who are marine planners by trade, but might have to take this into consideration. Particularly good is the cross-border planning examples that, as I said, will be very relevant for those of us in the Northwest. So I'm just going to talk a little bit now about my own research. So I focus on what you'd call cultural ecosystem services, which is an area that we don't have as much data as we have for your other ecosystem services. So I'm looking at specifically how access to the coast can affect people's well-being. And you might have seen the posters outside if you have visited either the Sefton coast or the Fylde coast within the past year. Please do complete my survey. That would be much appreciated. So these are my two case study areas. I'm looking at the Sefton coast and the coast alongside Blackpool. I've picked these two areas because they are similar, but from a well-being perspective. Looking at Office of National Statistics data, Blackpool. Why is well-being in Blackpool so different to that of Formby? And I'm hoping that I'll get some good data about that, and maybe we can see what, and hopefully that will influence how policy might be able to change. So I'm using a mixed methodology approach. There's an online survey which is live now, and then later in the year I'll be conducting some semi-structured interviews and mapping the cultural aspects of the landscape. If you would like, rather than looking outside, if you can use the QR code in front of you for Blackpool, and then for Sefton. Right. And I think that's it from me. So I'll go for any questions. If you need any of these references, I think these will be available online. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hannah. We have time for questions. If anyone would like to ask Hannah a question. Or are we all clued up on marine spatial planning now? All right.
Yeah, that's good.
Is this yours?
It's checking.
Brilliant. Okay, then we have this is actually new to the Northwest region. So SWME and EastME that you might have heard about today have not covered radioactive monitoring, but we realized that radioactive monitoring might be particularly important to the Northwest. And so Alistair